Welcome back, class. So we are starting our new chapter which is basically about the filters. So far in this course we have learned about the LTI system representation. Okay, and we have learned that we can represent the LTI system in difference equation form. Okay, for example, I can write my output like this one. Okay, x of n plus x of n minus 1, which is basically difference equation representation of the LTI system. Okay, and then basically we can characterize any LTI system using the difference equation representation, system characterization, impulse response, okay, Z transform. Okay, these are all the techniques for the analysis of the LTI system. Now in this chapter we are going to learn that how we can actually implement an LTI system, discrete time LTI system, in real time. Okay, for example, if you want to implement this discrete time equation in real time, so what are the structures or what are the algorithms, okay, which we can use for the real time implementation of the LTI system. Okay, that is the focus of this chapter. Okay, for example, if you want to implement in FPGA board or the like the DSP board, okay, so basically how the discrete time filters can be implemented. So our focus will be on the filters. Okay, in the discrete time system we are going to put focus on our on the filters. So we will learn about the different filter structures which we can use for the real-time implementations. So before going to the details of the filter structures, we will learn about the two basic type of filters which are called FIR and IIR. Okay, finite impulse response and finite impulse response. Okay, so let's see what are these filters. So the general discrete time equation in time domain we write like this one. Okay, for the LTI discrete time characterization and representation. So this is the equation which we have learned in the chapter 1. Okay, and if you like take the Z transform of this one, so it will be y of z. This is constant, so this Z transform will be y of z, and then the shift will be multiplied with z power minus k. Similarly, this one will be x of z shifted, it will be multiplied with z power minus k. Okay, so this is the same thing which we have learned in the chapter 1. And now if you take this this side, so it will become plus, okay, is it will be equal to this one. Okay, and here if you take y of z common, okay, so it will be 1 plus of this term, okay, a of k z minus k, which will be equal to basically this term bk x of z z minus k. Okay, k is from 0 to m. So basically the ratio of y of z over x of z, that is our basically transfer function. Okay, so that will be basically equal to this term divided by 1 plus of this term. Okay, so this is the characterized transfer function which you guys have learned in the chapter 1 also. Okay, so this is just a review of that. Okay, now focus on this. So bk is the component which is coming, coefficients which is coming basically with the input signal. Okay, and ak is the coefficient which is coming with the output signals. Okay, so then we are getting our final output. Okay, so this equation is basically represents IIR, okay, infinite impulse response filter or infinite impulse response system. Okay, that is basically this representation. Now in this equation, okay, if you make that this coefficient ak is 0, okay, if you make that this coefficient is 0, okay, then what will happen? This term will gone. Okay, so my output will be only this one, right? So in this case my output will be only this one. Okay, this coefficient, this part, this will be gone because I assume that ak is 0. Okay, And now if you take its Z transform, this will be y of z. Okay, it will be equal to summation k is equal to 0 of m bk x of z times z power minus k, right? That is basically y of z. And the ratio of y of z over x of z, okay, that is basically transfer function. That will be only this part. Okay, that is basically my transfer function. So this is just like this one, that this is like k is equal to 0, b0, z power 0 plus b1, z minus 1, b2, z minus 2 and so on. Okay, so this is basically my transfer function. So this is power series expansion, if you guys remember Z transform. Now if you take its inverse transform, so it will be b0, okay, plus b1 sigma of n minus 1 plus b2 sigma of n minus 2 and go on. Okay, like that will be the inverse Z transform of this one, or this is called impulse response, right? So in series form, sequence form, I can write like this one, that the coefficient b0, index is 0, index 1 is b1 and so on like that. Okay, so now if you look at this impulse response, okay, so basically I am having a finite impulses, okay, starting from 0 and ending at m. Okay, so m for example could be 3, m could be 4, it is a finite number. Okay, so that's why this is called as finite impulse response system. That this system is the finite impulse response system. So what is the meaning of this? So the meaning of this is, if you want to implement your output, so basically output can be calculated. For example, I can write this as b0 x of n, b1 x of n minus 1, b2 x of n minus 2. So we can implement our output by taking the recursive addition, recursive computation of the shifted input signals. Okay, I have input, then I have it shifted, multiply with the coefficient, another shifted, multiply with then another coefficients. So basically by just taking the recursive computation of the current input and the previous input samples, okay, we can get our output. So for the real-time implementation, what I need a simple adder, I need a simple multiplier for the coefficient multiplications, and I need a delay system which can produce the previous input values. Okay, so for the implementation on DSP board or FPGA board, if I had these three components, a simple adder, a simple multiplier and simple delay system, then I can easily implement my finite impulse response equation. Okay, finite impulse response system. Okay, so that will be the real-time implementations for the finite impulse response. Now if we go like if we assume that, as I said earlier, if we assume that AK is not 0, so basically we will get the same thing. In that case, that will be our transfer function. Okay, so that is basically infinite impulse response system. Okay, so the general form, and if we take like the general transfer function, okay, with both coefficients, so that is basically the infinite impulse response. So if you take the inverse Z transform of this one, we will get basically the impulse response in time domain, and that will be the infinite impulse response. Okay, so there are advantage and disadvantage. So here basically your output can be obtained by taking the current value and the previous samples of the input and also the previous samples of the output, by taking the summation of the previous samples of output and the current value of input and the previous samples of input. So by taking their summation, we can calculate the outputs. So basically it will result at infinite impulses. So that's why this is called infinite impulse response. Okay, so there are advantages and disadvantages of the each type of implementation, which we will discuss in the live session. Okay, and we will see the relevant examples, and then we will learn about the different kind of structures which we can actually use for the real-time implementation of these filters. Okay, thank you very much for your time, and we will see the relevant example in the live session. Thank you.